Morning. My name is Lee Hartzell. I'm a multiple sclerosis clinical neurologist at Duke. So multiple sclerosis is an immune-mediated illness that strips neural circuitry of its insulation, thereby slowing down communication. Its phenotype is the culmination of a dynamic interplay between genes, environment, minute-to-minute physiology, and even emotional states. This makes it an elusive target for study. And if it's difficult for researchers and clinicians, just imagine what it's like for the 2 million people who suffer the disease. Every 4 months, they're asked to summarize this highly fragmented experience in about as much time as I have to talk with you this morning. To help characterize this disease, we designed a research study called MS Mosaic. At its core is an app that can send subjects and then continuously collects data through quick journals, monthly surveys and activities, and from wearables. All in all, the app collects thousands of data points from each participant daily, while offering them several ways to review their data, gain insights from generated summaries, and share with their providers. Using this approach, we hope to empower patients and augment their care while creating a comprehensive picture of MS. From data collected in the app and in our extension study called Mosaic Test Array, we'll do a lot. We can use machine learning techniques such as neural network classifiers to predict the likelihood of new symptoms, Gaussian processes for time series modeling, clustering techniques for subpopulation discovery, or causal inference for evaluating intervention decisions. But after more than 2 years of effort, the study and its associated platform haven't yet launched. Here's why, in case you're considering original mobile-based data collection. So the greatest challenges have actually derived from the novelty. Many institutions have significant interest in this space, but don't quite know how to help. You can often get directed to multiple people within your institution and feel a bit like a ping pong. But despite this initial interest, they quickly become concerned about the potential security risks, fearing increased oversight from multiple government agencies. Local IT may also may not have an adequate framework to manage the app data. The alternative is an external vendor, but they may only assume liability if they're paid more than any one study can actually afford. This challenge has therefore added about 18 months to our timeline. With regard to the app itself, more than 1,000 pages of original content were created, several app features were developed, and over 110 app builds were reviewed. This required a significant amount of collaboration between clinicians, patients, data scientists, and app developers. Lastly, there's a word on funding. It can be difficult since a patient-facing research platform can also easily be seen as a possible clinical management tool, especially if you wish to eventually push some of the results of your analysis of the data to the people who gave it to you within the application. And so as a result, potential funding sources might reject it for the aspects of the project that are outside of their original design or scope. Federal grants will fund the analysis, but not the initial 6-figure app development. Pilot grants are too small, and other sources worry about return on investment since it is initially perceived as a research platform. So here's our advice. First, wireframe your app. It'll be the springboard for a lot of what you do. You can then approach app developers and more effectively communicate what you're looking for. Interview several firms to find the right fit because you're going to be working with these people really closely, and it's important they believe in your mission. Be sure to approach only developers who are familiar with medical data security requirements, okay, which is easier said than done. After app developer selection, you meet with the team and you nail down the minute details of app content, features, and behavior. And during that process, take a lot of notes because you can actually use that process to inform your IRB drafting and for your discussions with your local institution's IT department. Once you have that, you can have a more informed conversation with them to see what's readily available. Are there any internal resources, any existing contracts? Are there any other projects going on at your institution where you can actually cost share the back end? And then lastly, just be prepared for a prolonged legal process. There's multiple agreements that often need to be in place. But while this process is ongoing, you can continue to develop your project just as long as every stakeholder remains engaged. But halt your app development after the initial test build is actually created until all the agreements and IRBs are finalized. But you can take advantage of that opportunity to maybe beta test your user interface just alone to refine the app and actually foster interest among your local MS or chronic disease community. So hopefully we're launching this fall, and I look forward to talking to everyone at the poster. Thanks.